As I said at the top of the show, after weeks of radio silence over the weekend, the very first cohort of ISIS brides and their children arrived in Australia. So, what do we know? Well, not too much, unfortunately, but to have a chat about it, joining me now is the Director of Strategic Insights Australia, Michael Shoebridge. Michael, great to have you on the show. The repatriation of these women and children was deemed too high risk by previous governments. Why has there been a change in policy, and is it justified?
Well, Cory, I think this is a difficult judgment, but I think the background is it was too dangerous to operate in the camps, is what the previous government thought, to get the people out. But we've seen other countries, the Germans and the French and even Kazakhstan, successfully bring their citizens out of camps back to their countries. I think that changed the calculation.
One of the challenges here is we don't know a lot, and even the New South Wales Deputy Premier Paul Toole said he was blindsided by the operation, but it is hard to believe that New South Wales Police or the Counter-Terrorism Unit haven't been told where the families are actually being settled. I think communities have a right to know. Are proper policies in place to protect them? I think that's what we need to know. Where do you sit on that circumstance?
Well, Cory, I think you're right. I think there's a legitimate public interest in personal safety. We know there are some refugees from Syria that suffered under Islamic State living in our community. So I think being clear about where there are prosecutions possible of some of the women because of their actions in support of Islamic State, hearing that that is what the government intends, hearing about control orders, and hearing about the plans to help the children who are really victims here integrate back into our community. Our community needs to know all of that.
Yeah, very much so. And the only one that can deliver the answers is government. We're waiting desperately for it. All right, let's turn to China now, Michael. There are growing tensions with China. We've seen that build up for quite a while. And it's now been revealed the United States is preparing to deploy up to 6 nuclear-capable B-52 bombers to be stationed in northern Australia. This is a provocative move. What do you make of the development, and will it be enough to scare off China from doing anything drastic in relation to Taiwan or in the South Pacific?
Well, Cory, Beijing will try to cast this as a provocative move, but it's really America and America's allies and partners, in this case Australia, telling Beijing we have the will to deter war. So that's the message Beijing needs to take. And Australia can't sit here and benefit from American extended deterrence and not contribute to it being effective. So I think we've got to really reset our debate and think we're making a contribution to American nuclear deterrence and we benefit from that deterrence.
Yeah, Michael, I've only got about a minute left, but the new frontier of warfare seems to be cyber warfare, cyber crime, data hacking. We've seen that with Optus, and Liz Truss's phone, of course, was allegedly hacked. Are our governments doing enough to protect our data and our secrets, and how much of a threat does this pose to our national security?
I think everybody is behind the curve. All digital systems are vulnerable. Anyone who thinks their digital system isn't vulnerable is just complacent. We're seeing that now with a major defence contractor. I think a big answer here is to not hold any more personal data than you need, and we haven't got clear policies on that. We need them, and we need them fast.
Yeah, we certainly do. Michael Shoebridge, I'm sorry, but I'm out of time. Thank you very much for joining me on Credlin tonight.